Dogecoin is pumping, Elon is talking crypto again, and NFTs are going viral. Hey guys, Sheldon Evans here, welcome back. Or if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on all of those bell notifications. Now, what seems to be in a sea of red of cryptocurrencies over the past week, there's one coin in particular sticking out over the past 24 hours on the 7-day, up 20% on the weekly and 13% on the past 24 hours, and that is of course Dogecoin. So today we're going to get into why this is, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and see what the market's looking like, and we're going to get into some news later on in the video. But before we do that, I just want to remind you guys that my membership NFT, YMH, or Your Mom's House, is launching on January 22nd. We have officially partnered with the Doge Pound, so we're going to be whitelisting Doge Pound holders and allow you guys to mint one day before the public does at a lower price, and that goes along with our other whitelisted members. So if you aren't yet, join our Discord. Good vibes in there. Often we're on the walkie-talkie channel if you want to hop in there and we can chat to one another. I come on the chat occasionally and we have a pretty cool conversation. We do meme review and we talk about crypto and NFTs and so on. So hop in there if you haven't yet. Our announcements are made a little bit earlier on the Discord, so there's an incentive for you to join our Discord to get those announcements before everybody else does. But you also do want to get on that whitelist if you aren't yet. We do have very, very limited opportunities left. So you want to get on that whitelist because you'll be able to mint before the public does at a lower price. So if you're an NFT flipper or you want to flip for a profit, this is your opportunity to do that. So let's take a look at what is going on in the market. Bitcoin still trending just above the key support that I mentioned in the previous video. Now, this is that multi-month long downtrend. Remember that we broke when we began that parabolic uptrend to the new all-time high of $69,000. We have finally just broken above it. We haven't quite reclaimed it as support yet. If we do reclaim this as support, it could be a very, very bullish sign for us. But we do have some bullish news on the horizon, which I'll cover later in the video as well. Now, before we get into that, I want to talk about some, let's say, market wisdom or crypto wisdom and game theory wisdom. So we have a tweet here from Alex Gladstein that says, I agree with Fidelity, of course, but still astonishing to read this Bitcoin adoption game theory in such a mainstream financial report. Now, it says here that we also think there is a very high stakes game theory at play here, whereby if Bitcoin adoption increases, the countries that secure some Bitcoin today will be better off comparatively to their peers in the future. Therefore, even if other countries do not believe in the investment thesis or adoption of Bitcoin, they will be forced to acquire some as a form of insurance. In other words, a small cost can be paid today as a hedge compared to a potentially much larger cost in years down in the future. We therefore wouldn't be surprised to see other sovereign nation states acquire Bitcoin in 2022. Now, this is the thing with cryptocurrency right now, is that it's gotten too big to ignore. So even if you don't believe in crypto, if you don't understand it, you have to get into it, because those who do understand it or those who do potentially believe in it are able to drive the mass adoption of crypto, whether you like it or not. And I've noticed this by speaking to people who as friends and peers that aren't necessarily big nation states or institutions talk about crypto. When I talk about crypto to them and they say, I don't understand it, I just know everyone's talking about it, so I bought some. That is exactly what we're seeing with some of the biggest nation states and some of the biggest institutions in the world, is that crypto has gotten too big to ignore, so they have to invest something into it, even if they don't believe in it, because it's bound to succeed. So there's a very, very interesting piece of game theory that's happening right here. Now, let's talk about Dogecoin and Tesla and what is going on with the pump. Dogecoin pumped 20% in the past 7 days. And this is, of course, on the news that Tesla will be accepting Dogecoin as a form of payment for their merchandise. Now, if you send anything other than Dogecoin, that's where the catch comes in. You won't get a return. They'll simply keep your money, and you can't get a return on any of the merch that you buy through Tesla. Now, this might seem like huge news that Elon Musk is back into crypto and Tesla is accepting Dogecoin for payment again, or for the first time. It's not necessarily the biggest thing. And the reason being is I want to comment on this tweet made by Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum. He made a poll for the Ethereum community saying that if you woke up in the year 2035 and 80% of all the transactions and savings in the world are in one currency that is not Ethereum, which would you prefer it to be, right? We have Bitcoin, US dollar, Solana, ADA, Tron, BNB, One, and Neo. Which one of these would you prefer to be making your transactions in? And I made a response tweet to this, which in fact didn't actually get much traction at all. So if you aren't yet, go ahead and follow me on Twitter, because I did finally get verified. So hopefully this will stop some of the scammers. If you haven't yet, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and blow this tweet up, comment on this one so I know that you came from Twitter. But I did say that which crypto should I use for transactions will become an irrelevant question in the future. Everyone will use whichever chain they like and are most familiar with. This is a very important piece of information because we have a lot of information and news talking about how Tron is going to succeed or Ethereum is going to succeed and ADA is going to be the transactional cryptocurrency of the world. None of this matters because in the end, whatever cryptocurrency you use on a daily basis, whichever one you're most familiar with, whichever community you identify mostly with, or whatever is the back end of whichever mainstream app you end up using in the future, is going to be the transactional cryptocurrency backend of that specific platform. And we are heading into a future of interoperability and an internet of blockchains. So betting on a single chain as the transactional cryptocurrency of the future, I think, is a silly bet in my opinion. I mean, we have not Dogecoin, MasterCard and Visa saying that they're also looking to adopt crypto payments in 2022. And if they do this, they're not going to pick one specific cryptocurrency. At this point, you can buy pretty much everything you like online with crypto, and you don't necessarily have to choose Ethereum or Bitcoin. Often, if you're buying something with crypto online, you have a list of cryptocurrencies that you can choose from, and you can choose whichever one you like to buy, whatever product or whatever it is you're looking to buy online at this point. And when we do get merchants like Visa and MasterCard integrating those payments into mainstream payment systems, it's not going to matter which cryptocurrency you use as a transactional backend because there will be a variety of them. There might be a major settlement layer, so maybe everything gets settled on Ethereum, or maybe everything gets settled on Cardano or Solana or Luna, whatever it might be. Doesn't really matter to you as the end user, and it shouldn't matter to you. The same way as the protocols behind the internet browser that I'm using here do not matter to me one slight bit when using the browser to browse the internet. I don't care what's going on in the backend. I don't care about TCP. I don't care about packets. I don't care about HTTP. I don't care about any of this in the backend. All I know is that I'm visiting this website, it's working, goodbye and good day. However, if I'm sending a transaction to you, if you're sending a transaction across your bank, you don't care either what is going on in the backend. And there's a lot of processes going on in the backend. I have a few friends who work in the bank that manage the transactions and batch process them and so on. All of that happens sometimes in a manual basis and sometimes on a batch processing basis. But you as the end user do not care, don't even give an ASH1T about the tech behind the backend of that because it doesn't matter to you as the end user. And when we get to the point of that for cryptocurrency, it's going to be a huge shift in the mass adoption of crypto because the backend is going to be the backend and you're going to be using your app, you're going to be using your bank app, you're going to be using alice.co, you're going to be using whatever product it is that you're using your new decentralized bank as, and you're going to be sending your transactions to your friend, you're going to be texting it to their number, you're going to be having custody of your seed phrase by somebody else or some mass corporation, and you're going to be happy. And that is what is going to happen in the future. That is what will drive mass adoption. Of course, we all believe in the future of decentralization and self-custody. That is the core belief around cryptocurrency. But if we do want everyone and the layman to understand how crypto works or be able to use crypto on a daily basis, we're going to have to make it a lot easier and make the user experience a lot simpler and smoother for the end user. Now, we do also have Mark Cuban talking about his investments, and aside from Shark Tank, he says that 80% of his new investments are in crypto. So the comedian and former Daily Show host Jon Stewart said Dallas Mavericks owner and billionaire Mark Cuban broke down the intricacies of the crypto space in a practical term. So cryptocurrency is hard to understand and it's a hassle, but 10 years from now, these applications, they're going to be those that succeed. That'll create its own economy. Just like in the internet days, it'll be the younger generation that figures it out first and is innovative. So he's essentially comparing this to the internet boom, when many of the boomers and the older people were saying, oh, it's never going to overtake dial-up, it's never going to overtake radio, it's never going to overtake telephones. And every time we've had this major shift in technology over the years, we've had a pushback from either the older generation or those who don't believe in it and are very much stuck in their ways. Now, the great thing about the younger generation is that we're adaptable, we're open to change, and that is why we're seeing the meme coins are the ones that are pumped the fastest. We see NFTs pump the fastest because they're easier to understand to the younger generation who grew up using collectibles and understanding digital media rather than coming from an older generation who don't quite understand the digital economy, but rather understand physical goods and physical products that they can hold and touch in their hand, even though it's essentially the same thing with ownership. So when we see this happening, it's a very, very good sign in my opinion, because we are seeing people starting to realize that we need to listen to the younger generation because they do actually know what they're talking about. They are the ones who are moving the space. I've noticed this from building in the space for the past couple months, that most of the smartest minds in the space are very, very, very young people, much younger than myself as well, which is very, very interesting to me, because it shows that even at the age that I am right now, I'm starting to turn into a boomer, and people are sort of overtaking me at a speed, which is a great thing. I'm not sad about that at all. And I think it's very, very important that we do start listening to the younger generation as well, because they know what they're talking about. Now, I also want to talk about the Second Life creator returning to the late claim to the Metaverse. So if you've ever played the Second Life, this is what I've compared the Metaverse to. I actually spoke about this in our Discord the other day when I was on the walkie-talkie. We were talking about the Metaverse, and I was saying that this idea of this digital roaming metaverse, where we have a world either created by Decentraland or Sandbox or something like that, is a world that you throw your 3D character into and you roam around and you start smashing things and talking to people and so on, isn't necessarily the metaverse. It's sort of our idea of the metaverse right now, but all it is Second Life from 20 years ago doing the exact same thing in the current stage, just on the blockchain. So walking around playing games, that is nothing new, but suddenly, because it's on the blockchain, it's now the metaverse. No, what the metaverse is the internet that I'm reading right now. You watching this video, listening to me speak on the camera. If I come into the Discord and I chat to you in the Discord, and we go into the walkie-talkie and we speak to one another, if we have a Zoom call and we speak to one another in what seems to us to be real time, that is the metaverse. We're in this digital world where I sit in front of my computer and I can connect with anyone around the world in what seems to be them being in the same room as I am, collaborating on documents, working on projects and tools together. For example, with YMH, our team, we've got 8 core members right now who are pretty much all in different countries around the world. We've situated ourselves in the best way possible so that we can work across different timelines, but we're all across the world and we're building something great together without having to leave our own individual office spaces. And I think that is the metaverse. There are some people saying that the metaverse is a time rather than a place. Maybe it is a time when our digital selves, our digital reality starts becoming more valuable than our physical reality, which in my opinion, we're already at that point. If you post a photo on Instagram or you post a tweet on Twitter, people are using filters on their faces, trying to make themselves more beautiful online because their online presence is more valuable than their in real life personality. So I think we're already in the metaverse, people trying to capitalize on this or move into this and say that we're building the next metaverse, or Apple's going to come along and say we're building our metaverse and Facebook's building their meta. It's all the same thing. We're already in the metaverse. Apple, you can already use an emoji over your face and talk to your friends on FaceTime. You can share play, you can watch videos together online. These things all already exist. The metaverse entered many, many years ago. It's just this sort of marketing or advertising word now, the metaverse, and talking about 3D worlds, that seems to be what people are understanding. So when I see people like Second Life Trader coming into the metaverse, it is actually an important thing, because big tech giving away VR headsets and a metaverse on their ad-driven behavior modification platforms isn't going to create a magical single utopia for everyone. And that's exactly what I'm saying. By creating this 3D world, it doesn't really mean anything. We are already in the metaverse, but when we have creators like this who had sort of the original vision of this 3D world that we can interact with and buy digital products. I remember buying stuff on PlayStation Home for Second Life, buying these little things for my character many, many years ago. And that was before NFTs existed. And that was pretty much at the same time where we're trying to convince gamers right now that NFTs are actually good for them because they can own these digital assets in their game. This is a very, very important stage. And I think getting these original thinkers behind these products like Second Life into the space is a very, very important factor. And I'm excited for what the future brings for that. We also have China aiming to separate NFTs from crypto via a new blockchain infrastructure. So China, again, as their surveillance state, is trying to legalize NFTs. So that is the good news, that China is legalizing NFTs, but it isn't necessarily the best thing, because they're creating their own private blockchain that allow you to buy and sell NFTs, exactly how the world currently works. So since public chains are illegal in China, but private chains, which is why they're having their CBDC, their bank digital currency, not necessarily a public chain. Essentially, they just want to monitor everything you're doing. It's like your parents monitoring your cell phone when you go out, or when you give a kid a cell phone and monitoring everything they do. That is exactly what the Chinese government wants to do. It doesn't really help the space, saying that we're going to be able to sell NFTs on this private blockchain. They said we will provide services to NFT companies in Hong Kong, which means if there's any international business involving issuing NFTs inside China, they definitely can choose to use the BSN-DDC network in our Hong Kong gateway. So essentially, it's the same way that we are buying digital assets online right now without ownership. That's exactly what this is going to be, except they're calling it NFT, and maybe it's on their private blockchain. But again, you don't really own that if it's not a public blockchain. So all of this is just not that bullish for NFTs from China's perspective, but whenever China does anything for crypto and NFTs, it's never been good in any way. So it doesn't really matter in the end. Now let's take a look at the market. As I said, Bitcoin is finally reclaiming that point in the market. Luna has retraced to the fib level again that I've been watching perfectly. If you guys remember from previous videos, I did say that we would likely retrace to the 1618, and we did do that perfectly. Right back here, or the 0.618 level. Now we're reclaiming the next one fib level at $76.96. So I do think that if we reclaim this level, we might see another move for Luna back up to the new fib level of 1618, which is 122. That would be very, very good in my opinion. Most other altcoins are sitting on key supports again. We can see that AVAX again retraced to our fib levels as outlined here. If we reclaim them, we might see new highs. Now, I know some people have been asking, which altcoins do you buy? How do you know which ones of these are fantastic to enter into? Where do you enter into these coins? And again, we just look at days like this, or in the past week when we did have those crashes, we look at which coins held up the best during the dip, and those are the ones that we entered into. It's very, very simple. The psychology behind this is very, very simple. If something sustains or holds itself up quite strongly during a dip, it shows that the market has confidence in that coin, even when the confidence is depleted across other coins in the market. So that coin is likely to rebound even better when the market does recover as a whole. So when everything dips, look for the coin that dipped the least out of the coins that you believe in and that you understand. Enter into those, and you'll likely make a better recovery in the future if you are looking for those gains. So if you did make it all the way to this video, please comment down below little legs and give the video a like if you haven't yet. I really do appreciate it. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I will be publishing a dedicated video on our NFT set in the coming days to give you guys a better understanding of exactly what it is and give you some updated announcements that'll hopefully blow your mind. As always, I shall see you in the next video.